It's week number 1 on your journey to become a diamond tier player. And I'm here to help you. If you want one video that's going to let you know what players to target on the waiver wire, why you're targeting these players on the waiver wire, and how they fit the greater scheme of your team, then keep watching.
Step on the court where the legends are made. Fantasy dreams where the stats get paid. Barack
Lesnar Hoops Fantasy Basketball.
First pick in the 2025 Professional Fantasy Basketball Draft, the Omaha Owls select Barack Lesnar.
That's the no-brainer pick. He breaks down every rotation, and he does it with style.
If you want the...
Hey, this is Barack Lesnar Hoops. Today is opening day of the 2025-2026 season. If you have enjoyed this content from Barack Lesnar Hoops so far, do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe if you have not yet. So I'm going to do a breakdown of the waiver wire transaction trends on Yahoo, and I'm going to focus on diamond tier trends. But I also want to go into a concept that I broke down in my last video, which is engines for your team. These are the anchors of volume production for your team versus the big 5 specialists. That's how I'm going to be breaking down these videos week to week to help you conceptualize how and why these players help you. So as far as why should you listen to me at all, I think I have some legitimate credibility. I've been a diamond tier player for 11 years now. I've won 27 first place trophies, 69 trophies total, and I have a win rate of 66.2, about 1,599 categories won, and a diamond rating last season of 955, which puts me in the 1 percentile for category leagues in fantasy basketball. And that expertise is what I want to share with you to help you also reach that diamond status. So what is my big 5 philosophy that allowed me and helped me win 27 championships? It was by focusing on the right categories. So what I realized is there's an abundance of volume categories. You can get points, rebounds, assists, and 3-pointers. You can stream those fairly easily. That's why we do these waiver wire videos, because these categories can be easy to stream. Your engines for your team are normally the guys you have to draft in the first few rounds. Those are the ones that are going to give you your volume production, and you want those to be the best volume producers possible, which means also having efficiency and also not turning over the ball too much. So once I've targeted correctly as far as the engines for my team, my specialists that I build around my engines, I don't waste any specialist slots on guys that are just going to get me rebounds, or guys that are just going to get me assists, or guys that are just going to get me 3-pointers and nothing else. There's scarcity in steals, blocks, volume, field goal percentage being high, and then volume scores with a high free throw percentage. Assist to turnover ratio of over 2.5 on volume of at least 4 assists per game. Those are things that can be a lot more difficult to find consistently on the waiver wire, which is why I make sure to target them heavily during the draft. But these waiver wire videos, I think this is where you want to invest in these specialist slots. That's what we want to find. If you have a strong core you drafted, you want to find these specialists that could really round out your team. So while everyone else is fighting over points and rebounds on the waiver wire, you're winning steals, you're winning blocks, you're winning your percentages, and that's where championships are decided. So when we start discussing the player, there are some badges that we'll be using. So players that are being added at a high number will be labeled as hot. And if they have rising ads and momentum building up, they will be labeled as trending. We're also going to discuss the rookies separately and also target some injury stashes that you can throw in your IL. A very important part of my philosophy is that I make sure that my IL slots are always occupied. If my players are all healthy, then I'm picking some IL stashes off of the waiver wire, because again, these players are assets with trade value that you can then use later on to strengthen your team. Help you better conceptualize the concept of engine players versus the big 5 specialists. I came up with benchmarks to help you compare. And then when you compare versus these benchmarks, for your engines, you want guys that hit 5+ of these benchmarks. For the big 5 specialists, we want to know what is considered a specialist. So for example, you can see there a steal specialist is somebody that can get you 1.5 steals per game, ideally 1.8. That's elite level, but at least 1.5. So for the engine player benchmarks, you want guards that shoot 45% or higher. You want bigs that shoot 47% or higher. You want them to shoot at least 82% from the free throw line. As far as 3-pointers made, I want my guards to shoot at least 2.5 3-pointers made. My bigs, I want them to hit at least 1 3-pointer per game. My engines, I want them to score at least 20 to 22 points per game. My guards, I want them to get me 4.5 or more rebounds per game. My wings, 6+ rebounds per game. And I want my big men to get me 7.5 or more rebounds per game. Ideally, this ideal engine would get me 4.5 to 5.5 or more assists per game. Would get me 1.3 steals per game. My wings would get me 0.8 blocks per game, and my bigs would get me, at the very least, 1.2 blocks per game, and the turnovers would be under 3. Ideally, no more than 2.5. So this is an ideal player. These players don't really exist, and especially not on the waiver wire, not typically. But if you can target, especially in your drafts, but if you happen to find it on the waiver wire, somebody that hits at least 5 of these benchmarks, that makes them a very strong engine. It's unlikely they'll meet all of them. Those are guys you draft with your first 5 picks. But if they can hit a good amount of them, that makes them a decent target for your team and for your build. And the big 5 specialists, the steal specialist we already discussed, 1.5 steals, ideally 1.8. My block specialist, I want them to get me 1.5 or more blocks per game. My field goal anchors will shoot 52 to 55% from the field, and they're going to shoot at least 10 attempts per game. My field goal helpers shoot 52 to 55%, but on less attempts per game because, again, percentages don't matter as much if there's no volume behind it. A guy can shoot 80% from the field, but if he's only taking 4 shots, it doesn't help you as much as if there's volume behind it. My free throw anchors are going to be guys that shoot 85% from the free throw line, and they get me at least 4 attempts per game. DeMar DeRozan is a perfect example of a player like that. Then I like to target what I call assist to turnover gods, which is guys that can get you an assist to turnover ratio of above 2.5 while getting you at least 4 assists per game. You want to fill your roster with as many of these specialists as possible. You're going to want 2 to 3 steal specialists, 2 to 3 block specialists. If you can find players that can help you get both, even better. And if you can find guys that can anchor your field goal percentage, your free throw percentage, and keep the assist to turnover ratio high for your team, this is how you construct a build that will be impossible for 99% of teams to beat. And here's that breakdown for you just one more time. The specialists are really the ones that we want to target on the waiver wire. The engines, like I said, you normally have to draft those guys. They're not readily available unless somebody drops them because of injury and you stash them until later on. Then maybe they become engines, someone like Kyrie Irving. But our specialists are going to be the ones we heavily target on the waiver wire. 1.5 or more steals per game for the steal specialist. For the block specialist, 1.5 or more per game. For the field goal anchors, I want them to have 10 field goal attempts per game at 55% or more. My field goal percentage helpers will shoot 7 to 9 field goal attempts and get me 52 to 55%. My free throw percentage anchors are going to get me 85% from the free throw line on at least 4 attempts. And those assist to turnover gods are going to get me those 4 assists per game. And they're going to get me less than 1.5 turnovers per game. And like I told you, we added badges to these players. So if you're missing steals, you might want to target a guy with the lock icon. If you're losing field goal percentage, then you want to target a field goal percentage helper or a field goal percentage anchor. Knowing exactly what your team needs and how to add the players that fit those needs is how you build those championship teams. Can't wait to start the season. Very first week, here is the players that I will be targeting on waiver wires, again, based on waiver wire transaction trends. Let me know in the comments which of these players you'll be picking up. So we're going to start with the highest ad volume. These are guys that have 500 plus ads at the moment in diamond tier leagues. We've got Rui Hachimura, scorching hot right now with 1,600 ads. The arithmetic is real simple. LeBron is missing at least a few weeks with sciatica, which opens up touches and minutes and usage for Rui. He's only 24% rostered right now. So if you need somebody that can get you some rebounds, score efficiently, Rui Hachimura is quickly going off of waiver wires. You may want to consider targeting him as well. Luguentz Dort is another hot pickup right now with 1,044 ads in the last day. He's only 18% rostered. You pick him up because he's a 3-and-D specialist that has some solid percentages and can also help you with those steals and those blocks. Steven Adams, we found out he's going to be the starting center tonight. The Rockets are running a very big lineup with Eason as their point guard. Excited to see how that goes. He's only 6% rostered. He can get you rebounds. He sets a lot of screens, high field goal percentage, shoots enough volume to be considered a field goal helper. Though keep in mind, the Rockets only have 2 games remainder of the week, which you can see highlighted here on the right. Alex Caruso is only 17% rostered. A guy that gets you elite defense, can get you steals, a sprinkle of blocks, nice 3-and-D production, and gets rotation minutes when he isn't injured. Somebody else that you can target, point guard eligible, is Cason Wallace, only 32% rostered. He is a great 2-way guard. Not only does he help your field goal percentage or free throw percentage, he gets you a sprinkle of threes, and he also gets you steals and blocks, which, again, fits that big 5 specialist role that we've been discussing. He's been added 596 times in the last day. Jabari Smith Jr., a guy that I tend to hype up a lot, 38% rostered, 3-and-D potential. The blocks aren't high, but I think he has that defensive potential. He's only like 22 years old. There's rookies being drafted older than he is right now. I believe this is his 3rd season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big leap from him, and we may have seen the beginning of that in preseason. He was hitting threes, he was rebounding, he was scoring. I think we see a continuation of that this season. So right now, he's only 38% rostered. If you need a big man with some upside, I would consider Jabari Smith. And then you have Brandin, Podziemski, 42% rostered, added 473 times in Diamond Tier leagues in the last day. He's a versatile guard, can score some playmaking, get you some rebounds, can get you some steals. He has rotation minutes, so he should have a decent enough role to allow him to produce for your team if you're in need of a point guard. So the solid pickups right now in Diamond Tier leagues with 200 to 500 ads. Al Horford is probably going to be the starting center for the Golden State Warriors. He's a stretch big that can get you some threes and some blocks, which is a rare combination to find on the waiver wire. So if you need a big man, he might be one that you stream all season long. Aaron Wiggins, he's an efficient scorer, solid field goal percentage, solid free throw percentage, can get you some steals, balanced production. He is on a very stacked Oklahoma City Thunder team with a lot of mouths to feed, but they have 3 games remaining this week. So if you need to stream somebody with a balanced approach, especially in a deeper format, Aaron Wiggins might be somebody you consider. Gabe Vincent is quickly being added. He's only 4% rostered. Somebody else that's going to benefit from the injury to LeBron James. He should get more minutes, which gives him more streaming upside for his ability to hopefully get you some assists, get you some threes, score a little bit. That's about what you can expect from Gabe Vincent. Tre Jones is one of those assist to turnover ratio gods. Will he get enough minutes to be a factor? Lonzo Ball's gone. Theoretically, Tre Jones should get some of those minutes. He's only 5% rostered. For a guy that can get you a lot of assists without hurting your turnovers. At least put him on a watch list, but just be aware there are people picking him up in numbers right now. Tari Eason with the Houston Rockets is one of those steal specialists we discussed. He can get you steals, he can get you blocks. He's a defensive monster, but he is somewhat injury prone. He's only 41% rostered right now. So if you like his steals and blocks potential and think he can get some minutes, I would consider at the very least streaming him. Buddy Hield, not heavily rostered, only 14% rostered. He's a 3-point specialist at this point in his career. He can blow up and get you 27 points one night, the next night get you 5 points. This is why I don't really like to target just guys that get you volume threes, for example. But if that's something that you need, he is being picked up right now. Kyle Kuzma is another one of those volume scorers that can get you some points, some boards, some assists. If you need that volume production, then he's one of those guys that you can stream. Collin Sexton on a new team on the Charlotte Hornets. Will he get enough minutes to be a factor? He tends to play himself into 25 or more minutes. We've seen him score 20-plus points per game in the past. There's uncertainty around his new role, but that uncertainty might equal opportunity. He's only 26% rostered. He's been added 288 times. So if you want a point guard with some upside as a scorer to get you assists on decent percentages, Collin Sexton might be a good target for you. Malik Monk, only 32% rostered. He's a 6-man. Domantas Sabonis is likely missing the first week, which means some touches and opportunity. The only issue I have, they have a lot of heavy usage guards on that team, like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. They added Dennis Schroeder. So that number of guards that need the ball in their hands, to me, spells doom for Malik. Zaccharie Risacher, second-year player with the Atlanta Hawks, only 35% rostered, former #1 pick. He's developing an all-around game. He has some upside as a second-year player. He's been picked up 267 times. Reed, we found out he won't be starting tonight's game, which is interesting. All of us gambled on Reed Sheppard getting starting minutes. I think he can still play his way to 25-plus minutes, which should be enough for him to be productive. But at the very least, note that he is not starting tonight's game. Jonathan Kuminga can be a microwave scorer, one of those guys you stream if you want some rebounding and some points. He's only 33% rostered right now. Yves Missi, a guy that you pick up if you want to boost your field goal percentage while hurting your free throw percentage and getting a stream of blocks. He can score, low-digit scorer. He can get you 8 to 9 rebounds per game. He's going to get you 1.5 or more blocks per game, but he's going to hurt your free throw percentage and not get you any threes. So keep that in mind if you are targeting him. He's only 29% rostered. So if you need a big man, he's not a bad one to target. Marcus Smart, 234 ads in the last day, only 4% rostered. He might have some opportunity also with the injury to LeBron James. He's a guy that you pick up for his ability to hit threes, get assists, and get you some steals. Quentin Grimes is being picked up because of his production at the end of last season. He was on a scorcher. Will he get enough minutes on the 76ers to be useful? That is the gamble. That is the question. I think some people are guessing he might have more of a role than the consensus, which is why you see those 222 ads in Diamond Tier leagues. At the very least, if you're in a 14-team league, Quentin Grimes makes sense as a target. Aaron Nesmith, 210 ads. He's a guy that can get you some scoring. He can hit some threes, and he can be really efficient from the field and the free throw line. Isn't going to get you a ton of defensive stats, but he's going to keep the turnovers low. and there's some opportunity there on that Pacers team. So keep him on a watch list. He's only 27% rostered right now. Bub Carrington, only 18% rostered in Diamond Leagues right now. 206 ads in the last day. He's a young guard on a tanking Wizards. The opportunity is going to be there, but there's the potential for him to hurt your field goal percentage if you do pick him up. So you might get some volume production, but at a cost. Jalen Wells, we're also seeing a lot of pickups for Jalen Wells. We found out that Ty Jerome is likely out for the next several weeks due to a calf strain. You also have Scottie Pippen Jr. dealing with an injury, which means Jalen Wells might be the main beneficiary of a whole lot of minutes and usage. And Ja Morant is also dealing with some injury issues himself. That combination of factors, I think, makes Jalen Wells a very strong target for you right now, even in 12-team leagues. Now, here are the rookies that I'll be keeping an eye out for and are quickly moving on waiver wires right now. BJ Edgecombe, 31% rostered, an athletic scoring guard with some explosive upside. Will he have enough minutes in Philly's rotation to take advantage of that talent? That's what remains to be seen. But you have 523 folks in Diamond Tier leagues betting on that happening. So another young rookie that you might want to consider having on your squad if he's on the waiver wire. Yegor, 15% rostered right now. Had a strong debut in preseason where he got some points, rebounds, and hit some threes pretty efficiently. Some people are banking on his upside on a Nets team that's looking like it's going to be kind of fans don't come for me. I'm just saying 422 ads for him in the last day. Then you have Dylan Harper, incredibly high upside rookie. Should be getting some minutes, especially with De'Aaron Fox potentially missing some time at the beginning of the season. Should have some strong, well-rounded production for your team out of the gate. Then you also have Con Knipple on the Charlotte Hornets, only 16% rostered. Also had a solid debut and should have some rotational minutes immediately. He's been added 136 times in the last day. These next guys are injured and probably not going to be able to help you anytime soon. But like I told you earlier, you want to take advantage of your IL slot. So go to your waiver wire right now and see if any of these guys are available. If you have that empty IL slot, throw them in there. If you end up needing the IL slot later, you could always drop them. But for right now, you want to gamble on the future production of these assets. DeJounte Murray tore his Achilles in January. People are predicting he should be back around January or February of 2026, which leaves enough time for him to be a useful asset for your team. He's only 33% rostered right now for a two-way guard that can rebound, get assists, and get you a healthy amount of steals and blocks. Will he come back healthy enough to help you this season? That's the gamble you'll need to take. Somebody else in a very similar boat is Kyrie Irving, who tore his ACL. There's predictions that he might be back around the All-Star break or early March. Will you take that gamble? He's 35% rostered right now. He's being picked up heavily. Others appear to be taking that gamble as well. Jaden Ivey, 39% rostered, had knee surgery earlier this month. Should be out another 2 to 3, maybe 4 more weeks. Close enough to still be able to help your team. It's not related to the leg break that took him out for the remainder of last season. Still a very young guy who should be second in the pecking order behind Cade Cunningham. Jason Tatum is somehow 23% rostered because people are gambling that he could return at the end of the season. I'm not making that gamble, but I should at least make you aware that some people in Diamond Tier leagues they're on a small chance that he could return this season. Maybe if the Celtics are doing well enough that they're almost in the playoffs and he can return and get them to the playoffs, maybe. I still think that's very soon for a guy who tore his Achilles this past May. Seems way too soon for me to count on a return, but we've seen some footage of him practicing and looking pretty spry, so I guess never say never. Bilal Coulibaly is a young two-way big. The Wizards have a very strong playoff schedule in fantasy basketball, depending on the format for your specific league. So if you want a young player with upside that's not heavily rostered right now and is going to be missing possibly here the next few weeks, it shouldn't be too long. He's on a young Wizards team that's probably going to prioritize developing him. So I think right now this is a guy that an ownership percentage jump is in the cards for him here in the next month. I think you're going to see him owned on 50% of teams or more. And I'm pretty accurate with those predictions when I make them. You have Jared McCain, who last year got a lot of usage, a lot of touches before getting injured. When he's not making TikTok videos, he is busy scoring on the court. On a very loaded 76ers team, will he get enough opportunity to produce? I think that depends on the health of Paul George. That depends on the health of Joel Embiid. So I guess you could say it's a pretty safe bet. All right, guys, that is my video for week 1. I think if you watch this video again from the beginning and really break down and conceptualize the engines format, the anchors format I'm telling you about, the 5 category specialist I'm telling you about, it will help you for yourself without needing any of these videos, help you identify which players to target, why you're targeting them, and how they fit the wider scheme of your entire team. And once you have this knowledge, it doesn't matter if you draft from first, doesn't matter if you draft from 12th, or doesn't matter if you leave the draft with a mediocre team. You'll be so good at targeting the waiver wire and finding the pieces that can help you that you'll just have a flexibility that's hard to overstate. And that flexibility is what makes you a diamond tier player in the long run, which again is my goal for every single one of you. If you enjoyed that video, do me a favor, smash that like button for me. Subscribe to Barack Lesnar Hoops if you have not yet. And if for whatever reason you have not drafted, you can still buy my draft guide. There is a link in the description. I give you a full breakdown of what you need to do when you're in your draft to dominate. I understand most of you have already drafted, but if you have not, hey, then we're still there for you. Once again, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your love. Do me a favor, leave me a comment, letting me know how these videos have helped you so far this season. It motivates me more than you realize. Until next time, take care.